Okay, in this lesson we're going to look at how to organize polynomials and how to name them. And how it's going to work is just kind of a review of what we've been doing so far. If we take a look at this thing here, which is 3m to the power of 5, there's different parts to it. The 5 would be the exponent, the m is the variable or the base, and the 3 would be our coefficient. Okay, so coefficient, variable, that's an I, and our exponent. Now we're going to get into the next little part, which is something called polynomial. A polynomial is just a bunch of terms that are adding and subtracting one another. So the blanks here would be a polynomial is an algebraic expression made up of terms that are adding or subtracting with one another. So an example would be 3m squared plus 5m minus 5, because they're being separated by adding and subtracting signs. So that means you would have one term, two term, three terms. And we already did this, and it's just a review because we're going to expand on it. Okay, next part. Now we're going to name polynomials based on their name. So maybe I'll list an example first so you can see what it looks like. A monomial is just one thing, like monomial means like monorail, one. So 2m would be an example, and our definition would be an expression with one term. A binomial is just an expression, and I'll abbreviate it, with two terms. So something like 3m plus 1 would be a binomial. A trinomial would be the same thing, and this expression with three terms. So that would be something like 2m squared plus m minus 5, because there's three things here. Now, if they go bigger than 3, we don't call them anything. They're just called polynomial. But if they're a 1, a 2, or a 3 expression, then we use these special names. Okay, what I'd like you to do is label these ones. So tell me what these are as either a monomial, binomial, or trinomial. So pause the video and do this right now. Okay, if you come back and check, this one has one thing, two thing, so it's a binomial. I'm just going to abbreviate it as bi. This one has 1, 2, 3, so this would be a tri. This one is just one thing, so it's just going to be a mono. And this one is also mono because it's one thing. There's nothing adding or subtracting. So remember, they're separated by adding and subtracting signs. This is just one thing because there's nothing adding or subtracting to it. Okay, next little part. This part gets a little bit more tricky, and I'll teach it a certain way. It says every polynomial has a degree. Now what does that mean? The degree is the sum of the exponents of all its variables. Now here's the way I like to teach it. I like to teach it as, think about it how much something weighs. And the weight is really the sum of the exponents. We don't care about the coefficients or the numbers in front, just the exponents. So the degree here would just be 3. So the degree of the whole thing is just 3. On this one, you've got 2, 4, and the last one is 1. So really you're going 2 plus 4 plus 1. So you're just looking at total exponents. So this would be 6, 7. So degree just means total exponents. Okay, the last little part is when we take a look at the degree of a polynomial, we're going to use something different than what's here. I'm going to teach you a different rule, and that'll be just kind of the easiest way of describing it. It'll be in part 2 of this video. So I'll stop it here and we'll go to part 2.